Hello everyone, today we have a special guest, Damian Knyba and Zhang's trainer, Shaun George. Hey Shaun.
Hey, Michael. Nice to be here. Nice to be seen. How's everything going with you?
Everything is fine. My name is Michael Adamczyk of boxingzone.org. Shaun, first thing what I would like ask for is how do you rate Damian's performance in his last fight earlier this month?
Damon versus yes. It's a work in progress, but I give him a B minus going into this fight. There's a lot of things that he could have done that was better. Um, he's still learning. He's a good prospect coming up, and I'm looking forward to see what he does later on.
Damian has a great physical attributes, but in his last fight, he showed deficiencies in finishing off his opponent. The goal was a knockout, and that was not reached.
Yes, he didn't stick to the game plan, but it comes down to discipline. He's 12-0. He's still a very young heavyweight. He's still a young fighter. He doesn't have a lot of amateur experience. However, he's a work in progress, and he's learning. He's understanding that his height and his reach is a big advantage when it comes to everything else. This is only our second training camp together. So the more we get around each other, the more that we are around each other, the better he's going to be. Just got to build more chemistry when it comes down to it.
Okay, but what do you work on the most with Damian during training sessions?
It depends on his this discipline. He has to show more discipline when it comes down to things. That the stuff that everybody sees, he has a height and reach advantage. The guy's 6'7.5". He have an 86 reach advantage. So those are the things that people understand, but it comes down to discipline and understanding the game plan and sticking to the game plan. I could get technical with everything, but the most important thing right now is to show that he has discipline. And being able to is a mental attribute to the sport of boxing.
How do you rate the teamwork with Damian so far?
His team is awesome. His managers, from Luca to Eric to everyone around him, everybody working is great as a team. Everyone is easy to work with. Damian, I love working with Damian. He's actually a very smart person when you having a whole conversation with him. Just teaching him patience when it comes to the sport of boxing. Trust in the process, because there's always going to be a process when it comes to fighter and coach and fighter. I'm learning who Damian is. Damian learning who I am, and it's a trust process to it when it comes down to things. Damian, in my opinion, could be one of the most dangerous fighters in the history of the sport in heavyweight division if he does things properly. If he sticks to discipline and understand what I'm trying to tell him. The team understands this, so it's like the whole team is trusting the process right now.
Okay, so if I will give you the list of 80 best heavyweights, where is Damian in your opinion at this moment?
At this moment,
yeah,
I'm putting him at the bottom. No, because he's young. The boxing fans have to understand that he's still young and he's still learning on the job. He could be the most dangerous boxer out there, but he has to understand two key things: discipline, right, and patience when it comes down to things. Punch selection and those type of things. I'm not one of those coaches that's going to be like, oh, he's the greatest heavyweight in the world right now. I'm not going to be that guy. I understand I understand his potential, his full potential. I understand his full potential, and I understand that he's going to be world heavyweight champion of the world. But it's going to have to take time. He has to trust me, and I have to trust him when it comes down to those kind of things.
Knyba will return to the ring at the end of the year. When will you start when will you start the camp for that fight? Damian's opponent is supposed to be a much more experienced fighter this time.
Yeah. Listen, I believe anybody that we put Damian, any opponent that's in front of Damian's going to win. It comes down to the game plan. It comes down to training. Training camp is going to be as soon as Damian get back. Like I said, it's going to be a long training camp. Right now, I just want him in the gym training, doing boxing training, doing sparring. We have Jalay in training camp already. He's ready. Started training. He could be sparring with Jalay right now. He could be sparring with other heavyweights that's around the gym. We still have to learn each other. I want him to be more comfortable in the ring. That's the key.
Yeah, let's talk about Zhang, who gave us a huge surprise in April and he defeated Joe Joyce by TKO in round number 6. Did you in fact expect such an outcome? Did Joyce surprise you guys with anything?
There was absolutely no surprise when it came to Jalay and Joe Joyce. We wanted to fight Joe Joyce years ago. We wanted to fight other fighters years ago. I believed in Jalay. Jalay believed in himself. Team Jalay believed in him. But it came down to promoters not wanting to put their fighters in the ring with Jalay. It's been a slow and long process with Jalay. But what Jalay did on April 15th was not surprising to me, not surprising to Jalay. It was happy that it actually came and happened. It was happy that everyone got to see what I've seen in the gym over the years.
Unofficially, we know that Zhang's rematch with Joyce will take place in September in London, England. Have you started training camp for this fight yet?
No, we just in the gym having fun. Jalay's a gym rat. Jalay is always in the gym. Jalay was in the gym 2 weeks after the Joe Joyce fight. We're working out. He loves being in the gym. He's doing his running, he's doing his strength and conditioning, and he's doing his boxing. You still haven't seen the best Jalay John yet. I'm telling you this because I know that what you guys think, oh, this is the best we've seen Jalay on April 15th. Jalay still have a lot more to offer. Jalay is actually a really complete fighter. So you guys are going to see a little bit more different. It depends on what Joe does. You want to see a different Jalay. Jalay has so many different weapons, so many different arsenals when it comes to it. He could do a lot of different things. He could fight on his back foot. He could move forward. He could move laterally. He could show you hand speed, and he could show you Chinese power. So,
as we understand it, Zhang's team was negotiating contract terms for a fight with current WBC world champion Tyson Fury. The fight will not happen, though. Do you know why?
Yeah, Tyson doesn't want to fight. He just want easy fights or the biggest money fights out there. On our part, we have a obligation to rematch Joe Joyce. I have speculations what actually happened there, but you can tell Tyson Fury to go to the meat market and buy some heart because he doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't have the competitive edge. Not the fact that he's not a good fighter, because he's a very good boxer. He's a good fighter. He has guts and glory, but he doesn't have the heart to get in the ring with those fighters anymore. He's only looking at 1 or 2 fighters or looking at MMA fighters for the money. He doesn't have the heart. He's not competing in the sport of boxing as a sport anymore. He's just looking for one thing, for the biggest and highest payday, and the fighters that he wants to fight and picking, he knows he can beat those guys. That's why he won't get in the ring with Jalay. So tell him go to the meat market and buy some heart.
You have been training with Zhang for 12 years. How have your training methods changed over the years?
I love the sport of boxing, and Jalay loves learning different styles. Jalay loves talking about boxing. Jalay, our training style goes like we could sit here and watch a boxing match. We could sit here and talk about boxing. Our chemistry is so amazing that we could just look at each other. We know what we think. Like, yo, you're bull crapping here. Let's go. Don't. It's just we know not everything. We box. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Jalay is a student of the game. I am also a student of the game. So Jalay, he realized early on that okay, punching power is not just going to be it. It has to be the whole arsenal. It has to be everything. It has to be the defense. It has to be the footwork. It has to be um, what the other fighter is doing and how we're going to counter that stuff or how we're going to react to that stuff. Um, our chemistry is just um, it's pretty interesting when you watch his work and see how we work when it comes down to. Because when I first got Jalay wasn't. It was hard for him to focus for one round. Now you look at him, you can focus for the whole 3 rounds, and it's just what he does. You have to look at it one way. In China, the sport of boxing, professional boxing is not anything, right? It's professional boxing is very new to the country, China of itself. Amateur boxing is actually pretty new to boxing, period, when it comes down to them being a competitive country as an amateur boxing sport. So Jalay's been learning on the job. From the time when Jalay turned professional boxing, he didn't know what he was getting himself into. He didn't know about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds. All of that was a learning process. You know what I mean? What to do in these type of rounds. So so he had to learn. So his progress from 2014 to now is amazing to me. And I'm happy to see, and he's fresh. So people keep talking about, oh, he's getting older, or maybe that's going to be one of your questions when it comes down to it. But Jalay's a fresh 40-year-old. He's fresh. He hasn't taken punishment. He be dishing out a lot of punishment. He had a couple of obstacles in between, but Jalay is a beast. He's a savage. He's fresh. Yesterday was in the gym. I'm going to see him in the gym in a couple of hours. Jalay is a savage, and he loves what he does. And I'm looking forward to September fight.
Shaun, you know what? Like a few months ago, I wondered a little bit how your communication with Zhang is language-wise. When I asked Damian Knyba, he told me that you speak Chinese a little bit. What inspired you to learn such tough language? Is because Zhang?
I trained the Chinese national team. I was in China. I lived in China for 8 years. Had part-time.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
so all the fighters, it was Jalay, Kurt, one of his advisors. They just helped me with the language. Like I was just it started with numbers. 1, 2, 3, right? son, right? And like, oh, okay. And then it started with, okay, boxing terminology. And then I wanted to get around China, so it started with that. So it's little, like I could understand it more than I can speak it, but it's a very difficult language to learn because of the different tones. And you can't just sit there and read the characters because that's a whole nother thing. So I make it more difficult. But yeah, me and Jalay communicate. Because Jalay knows a lot more English than people think he does. He understands it too. So he speaks a little bit of English and I speak a little bit of Chinese, and it works together. So
Yeah,
I
you
could
mix it, right?
mix it up. We mix it up in between. So like if I'm giving him instructions in boxing, I could give him clear instructions in Chinese with not an issue at all. So our chemistry works well, and it's fun because like our opponents don't know what we're saying to each other. So it's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, and now you work with Polish guy, with Damian. So that means you plan to learn Polish a little bit?
Yeah, man. Listen, Damian.
I'm just kidding.
No, I am. I told Damian that I want to learn some Polish. He said, no, I want to speak English in the corner. I was like, okay, but I want to learn Polish. So it's fun. To me, it's fun when you learn it, especially when I'm learning boxing terminology in Polish and I could speak it in Polish fluently. It makes it easier for me and him to communicate. And it's easier, and his opponent doesn't understand what we're saying. I don't have a problem learning different languages and different terminology and everything else. So I think it would be fun. But Damien's like, no, speak English. I want you to speak English in the corner. I was like, okay, no problem. So that's that. You know, it's funny. Damien's funny. He's like, no, speak English in the corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shaun George, especially for BoxingZone.org. Shaun, thank you so much for nice conversations, for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. Have a good day.
Thanks too.
Yep.